Hello students. Today let's discuss about the next phylum, that is phylum Arthropoda and phylum Mollusca. In the previous classes we have discussed about some other phylums, right? We have already discussed about 6 different phylums. Hope you remember which are the phylums that we discussed. Which are the phylums? Phylum Polyphera, phylum Coelenterata, phylum Ctenophora, then phylum Platyhelminthes, phylum Aschelminthes, and phylum Annelida. Now in today's class, let's discuss about phylum Arthropoda. The term Arthropoda is derived from a Greek word, that is, arthron means joints and poda means leg or foot. Hope you got it. Arthropoda, the term, is derived from a Greek word. Arthron means joints and podos means foot or leg. Now, this phylum is considered as the largest phylum among all the phylums. Among all the animals discovered so far, all the species discovered so far, about 60 to 70% of the animals come under this phylum Arthropoda. That is why it is considered as the largest phylum. And it is under this phylum all the insects comes. All the insects come under this phylum, that is phylum Arthropoda. Now, phylum Arthropoda is again divided into 7 different classes. 7 different classes. So, we don't have to study about all these classes. We have to study only about the general characteristics of phylum Arthropoda. So, in order to understand the characteristics of phylum Arthropoda, just bring to your mind any one insect, any one common insect. So, if you have that insect in your mind, you will be able to understand the characteristics of this phylum easily. Now, can you just tell me the names of some of the insects? Common insects. Right, the one which you can see in the slide. What is this one? This is a crab, right? A king crab. Then another common insect which you find in your houses, which is that spider or cockroach, right? Or ant. All these come under this phylum Arthropoda. Okay, now let's discuss about the characteristics. So as I have told you, this is the largest phylum and the class Insecta is the largest class. Okay, now what are the general characteristics? From the beginning, when we studied about the basis of classification, we have discussed about 7 different criteria. Okay, so the first one, that is levels of organization. So here, Arthropoda, all the organisms which come under this phylum, they exhibit organ system level of organization. That means they have well-developed organ system. Then, what about the symmetry? They will be bilaterally symmetrical, means the body can be divided into 2 equal halves by a median longitudinal axis. Then, they are triploblastic. What does it mean? They have 3 embryonic layers, which are the ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm, right? And then, they are segmented. But they are not metamerically segmented. There is a difference between the segmentation found in annelids and Arthropoda. In annelids, we find that the segmentation is both external and internal. As a result of that, the body has a repeated series of organs. Whereas in the case of Insecta or in the case of Arthropods, the body is segmented. You find certain segments, but it is only outside, external. It is not internal. On the exoskeleton, you find the segments. Okay, so we can say they are segmented and they are coelomate animals. What do you mean by coelomate animals? They have a trocoelom lined by mesoderm. Hope it's clear? So these are the general characteristics. So organ system level of organization. That last word here, that is organization. Okay. It's just missing because of this picture. So, organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic body wall, they are segmented and coelomate animals. Hope that general characteristics is clear. Now, let us discuss about the unique features. they have a chitinous exoskeleton. How to pronounce this word? Chitinous, right? It's not chitinous, it is chitinous. Chitin is a polysaccharide. Okay, it's a polysaccharide or it's a carbohydrate. And the exoskeleton, if you have observed the body of cockroach or if you have observed the body of crab, you will find a thick outer covering. And this outer covering, which forms the exoskeleton, that is made up of a carbohydrate called as chitin. It's a unique feature found in arthropods. So, chitinous exoskeleton is a unique feature. Then, the body, how the body is divided. Just look at this picture. The body consists of a head, a thorax and an abdomen. Look at the cursor, all of you. So, body consists of a head, a thorax and an abdomen. Then, as I told you in the beginning, they have jointed appendages. So here you can see, just look at this king crab picture. Here you can see, these are the appendages, right? These are the appendages, and you can see the appendages means the foot or the organs which they use for movement. They are the appendages, and they have joints. Okay, so that is why the body, the Arthropoda, got its name as Arthropoda because of jointed appendages. So chitinous exoskeleton and jointed appendages are two unique features of phylum Arthropoda. Hope it's clear? Right. So here, arthron means joint and podos means foot or leg. Hope all these points are clear to you. So once again, Arthropoda is considered as the largest phylum. They exhibit organ system level of organization, then triploblastic body wall, bilateral symmetry. They have a segmented body and they are coelomate animals. And then we have seen that they have an exoskeleton which is made up of chitin. Okay, and then the body consists of head, thorax and abdomen. They have jointed appendages. Now let's discuss about some more characteristics. Now, as I have told you, the respiratory, almost all the systems will be well developed. So they have certain specialized respiratory organs. So some arthropods are found in water. Right, for example, prawn, crab, all these are found in water. And you know that in order to respire the dissolved oxygen, the oxygen dissolved in water, organisms need special respiratory organs known as gills. This you have studied in lower classes, right? So gills are the respiratory organs which are found in aquatic arthropods. Then, another type of respiratory organ found in terrestrial arthropods are either book lungs or tracheal system. In some arthropods, we find book lungs, that is, lungs in the shape of a book. The lungs will be found in the form of pages of a book. That is why it's called as book lungs. So this is a picture of a book lung. Right? And whereas some other arthropods, they show tracheal system. Tracheal system means they have trachea, tracheoles and air sacs. We will be studying about the respiratory system in detail when we discuss about cockroach. Okay, so for the time being, you should know respiratory organs in arthropods. It may be either gills or book lungs or tracheal system. So if a question is asked, mention the respiratory organs of aquatic arthropods. If that word aquatic is mentioned, you have to write it as gills. Why? Because aquatic arthropods which are found in water, they need to take in or breathe the dissolved oxygen. And for that, they require gills. So the respiratory organs are gills, book lungs or the tracheal system. Hope it's clear? Right. Now let's discuss about the circulatory system. What about the circulatory system? Circulatory system is open type. Open type means, what is an open type of circulatory system? Blood vessels are absent and all the organs will be bathed in the blood. Okay, so the blood keeps on moving. That is, blood will be in circulation and all the organs will be bathed in blood. Another peculiar feature of arthropods is they have the colorless blood. Insects have colorless blood. Blood is not red in color, right? And that is called as hemolymph. What is it called as? Hemolymph. Colorless blood. Okay, so I hope you got about the respiratory organs and the circulatory system. Now, coming to the next point, that is about the sensory organs, right? So they have different insects have different sensory organs, but almost all the arthropods they have antennae. Antennae means if you have observed a cockroach, you must have seen two long pointed thread-like structures as they move, and those structures are the antennae. It is using this antennae that they sense the surroundings. Hope it's clear? Right. Next is eyes. They have eyes as a sensory organ. Some arthropods have statocyst or balancing organs as their sensory organs. So statocyst is not found in all the arthropods. It is found in some arthropods, especially those which are found in water. Hope it's clear? So these are the sense organs. Now, what about the excretory organs? The excretory organs are mainly the Malpighian tubules, tube-like structures which are found in the alimentary canal. The gut of the arthropods are divided into three parts, that is foregut, midgut and hindgut. So at the junction between the midgut and the hindgut are found some 100 to 150 small thread-like structures, and these thread-like structures are called as the Malpighian tubules, which help in the removal of metabolic waste, and they are called as the Malpighian tubules. So what's the function of Malpighian tubules? Their function is to help in excretion. So Malpighian tubules are found in terrestrial arthropods, whereas in aquatic arthropods we find green glands. What are they called as? Green glands. So green glands are the excretory organs found in aquatic arthropods, and Malpighian tubules are the excretory organs found in terrestrial arthropods. Hope it's clear? So here in this picture you can see these are the tube-like structures which are called as the Malpighian tubules. Hope you can see this in the picture. Okay, so this is the midgut and this region is the hindgut. Gut means what? I hope you know that. Alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is called as a gut. So the alimentary canal is divided into three parts: foregut, midgut and hindgut. So at the junction between the midgut and hindgut, you find these tubular structures, very fine thread-like structures, which are called as the Malpighian tubules. Hope it's clear? Right. Now coming to the next, that is the reproductive system. Most of the arthropods are dioecious, means females and males are separate, right? Then fertilization is internal. Fertilization takes place inside the body of the females. Then they are mostly oviparous. What's the difference between oviparous and viviparous condition? Oviparous means egg laying, viviparous means giving birth to young ones. So most of the arthropods are egg laying, and development is direct or indirect. Now this is a term which you may not be, you must not have studied. Right. Now what is the meaning of a direct development? Direct development is the development without a larval stage. For example, human beings. Human beings from a female give birth to a baby, right? Exactly same like a human being itself. There is no larval stage in between. Whereas in the case of a life cycle of a butterfly or life cycle of silk moth, you must have heard there are different stages, larval stages. For example, first the female butterfly lays egg, right? Then these eggs hatch out and the caterpillar comes out. That is a worm-like caterpillar comes out. Then what happens? The caterpillar, around the caterpillar, it forms a pupa. And then from the pupa, later an adult butterfly comes out, isn't it? So there are some larval stages in between. So the adult butterfly does not give birth to directly into a baby butterfly, right? It's not like that. So there are some larval stages. So development where larval stages are present, that is called as indirect. Why is it called as indirect? It is not directly from the adult that a newborn baby is formed. Here from the adult, then eggs will be laid, then eggs develop into caterpillar, then caterpillar into the next stage called as a pupa, and from the pupa again the butterfly. So when there is a larval stage, we call such a development as indirect development. Hope it's clear to you all. So I hope all the characteristics are clear. So let us fast recollect All the characteristics once again. Phylum Arthropoda, it is the largest phylum. Exhibit organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, tuberoblastic body wall. Then they are ciliate animals. Then we have seen that they have a chitinous exoskeleton. That is a unique feature. They have jointed appendages. The body is divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. They have respiratory organs like gills, book lungs, or trachea. And then we have seen circulatory system is mainly open type. Then we are seeing the sensory organs include the antennae, the eyes, the statocyst or the balancing organs. The excretory organs, that is the mammalian tubules in terrestrial arthropods and green glands in aquatic arthropods. And then we have seen that they are mostly dioecious, means sexes are separate, fertilization is internal, mostly they are oviparous, and then development is direct or indirect. Hope it's clear. Now let's see some of the examples. That is, examples you have to study under different headings. You must have heard about some economically important arthropods, some insects which are economically important. For example, honeybees, silkworm moth, right? These are the two economically important arthropods, common arthropods. So the scientific name of honeybees, Apis, and the scientific name of silkworm is Bombyx mori, and then scientific name of black insect is Laccifer. Okay, so try to remember some economically important arthropods. Then there are some insects which act as vectors. What is the meaning of a vector? Vectors are those organisms which act as carriers of disease-causing organisms. Right? They carry the disease-causing organism and transmit from one person or from the host to another non-infected person. For example, you must have heard about some fever like dengue fever or chikungunya, malaria, etc. Right? For in all these, mosquitoes, they play an important role in transmitting the disease from one organism to another, or one human being to another human being. Right? And such organisms are called as vectors. Okay, so you have to remember examples of at least two examples for vectors. One is Anopheles mosquito. Another one is Culex mosquito. Another one is Aedes mosquito. So three mosquitoes which act as vectors are Anopheles, Culex, and Aedes. Okay. Now another example is gregarious pest. Gregarious pest means insects which attack the croplands in group. In group. Recently, you must have heard in TV or you must have read in news about group of swarm of locusts attacking the pest, especially in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, that is the northern states. Okay, so their group of pest, that is group of locusts. They come and attack the croplands, destroy the croplands. Okay, so the example for that is locust. So example for gregarious pest you have to remember. Another one is a living fossil. That is Lemurus king crab. King crab is considered as a living fossil. Okay, so these are some of the examples of arthropods. Hope it's clear. So now here in this picture you can see some of the insects. So you all must be you must be thinking that prawn is not an arthropod. Prawn is an arthropod. So these are the locusts, right? Big insects which destroy the croplands. Okay, so examples also you study cockroach, butterfly, prawn, then locust. Hope it's clear. Phylum arthropod is clear to you all. Right. Now let's move on to the next phylum, a very important phylum, that is Phylum Mollusca. Phylum Mollusca, they are commonly called as shelled animals. What must be the reason? Because of the presence of shell. So bring to your mind any one mollusca. For example, snail. You all must have seen snail, right? Have you seen snails? Right. Now, snail has a shell. Outside the shell, what you see when you see a snail is normally, when it is not moving, you see only the shell. The snail is found inside, right? When it moves, you see the shell around, right? As a hump over the moving snail, isn't it? Okay, so this phylum is considered as the second largest phylum. which is the second largest phylum, Mollusca, which is the largest phylum, Arthropoda. Now here also general characteristics, as you all know. Again, I need not repeat all this. That is, they exhibit organ system level of organization, triploblastic body wall, bilateral symmetry, and they have a true zero. Now, the distinct feature or a unique feature. The body of molluscans is covered with a calcareous shell, meaning shell made up of calcium. That's the meaning of calcareous, calcium carbonate. And they have, the body is divided into head, they have a muscular foot and a visceral hump. Visceral hump is a unique feature found in mollusca. So they have a calcareous shell. Their body is divided into head, then a muscular foot and a visceral hump. Okay. Now, in between over the visceral hump, there will be a soft and spongy layer of skin. Over the visceral hump, there will be a soft and spongy layer of skin, which is called as the mantle. M-A-N-T-L-E. The next figure here. So this is a apple snail. Okay. So this is that calcareous shell. And this below this you find a muscular foot. These are the antennae with which they sense the surrounding. Okay. Now this is the picture of a section of a mollusk. So here you can see this whole structure is called as a hump. Okay. And this outermost layer is the shell. This blue layer. Look at the cursor, all of you. This blue layer is the shell. Then you can see an orange color layer. This layer is nothing but the mantle. The soft and spongy layer, that is called as the mantle. Okay, so the space between the visceral hump and the mantle is called as the mantle cavity. So this is the mantle cavity. So this is the mantle cavity. Fine. Then inside this visceral hump you find all the organs, like you can see the digestive system, you can see the reproductive system, you can see the respiratory system. All these are found in the visceral hump. Hope it's clear. Now they have a rasping organ. Rasping organ means an organ which is used for grinding or scraping the food. Scraping the food, right? Have you seen the file or saw which is used to cut PVC pipes? At the edge of that you find small teeth-like structures. Just like that, you find teeth-like structure at the in molluscans, and this structure is called as here. Can you see this rasping organ here? Right, that is called as the radula. This is called as a radula. Okay, so what is radula? It is a rasping organ found in molluscans. That is again another important unique feature found in mollusca. Okay, so they have a calcareous shell made up of calcium carbonate. They have a head, muscular foot and a visceral hump. Then there is a soft and spongy layer of skin over the visceral hump, which is called as a mantle. And the space between the mantle and the visceral hump, that is called as a mantle cavity, where you find almost all the organ systems. Then they have a rasping organ called as radula. And here you can see this is a muscular foot with which they move. Okay, hope it's clear to you all. Okay. Now let's see some other characteristics. The space between the visceral hump and the mantle is called mantle cavity, and in which gills are present. Now, not only gills, as I have told you, the digestive system is found there, respiratory system is found there, excretory system is found there, all are found there. So they have respiratory as well as excretory functions, that is mantle cavity. Then head has sensory tentacles. The long structures are called as tentacles. Then the mouth contains a rasping organ called radula. Then they are usually dioecious. Dioecious means sexes are separate. And they are oviparous. Oviparous means they lay eggs with indirect development. Indirect development means what? Larval stages are present. Examples. You have to remember some of the examples. Some of the examples are Pila, that is apple snail, Pinctada, which is a pearl oyster, Sepia, which is a cuttlefish, Loligo, which is squid, Octopus, devilfish, Aplysia, sea hare, Dentarium, tusk shell, Chaetopleura chiton. Okay, so these are some of the examples. Try to remember at least few examples because sometimes you may get a question like this: name the phylum to which the following organisms belong. So there they may give an example: cuttlefish. So don't write it comes under fish, right? Cuttlefish comes under phylum Mollusca. Devilfish, that is octopus, it comes under phylum Mollusca. So just try to remember these names. Hope it's clear. So I hope the characteristic features of phylum Arthropoda and phylum Mollusca is clear to you all. Okay, so these are some of the respiratory organs. This is a statocyst. Okay, then this is found in scorpion. Then this is again statocyst, which is found in octopus. Now these are the book lungs, and this is book gills. Okay, so this is book lungs, and these are book gills, respiratory organs. Then these are some of the examples. So this is apple snail, then this is squid, right? This is octopus, and these are pearl, these are oysters. Okay, so that is all about phylum Mollusca and phylum Arthropoda. Hope you all understood. Thank you.